Mhm.
And we're live. Welcome. Welcome
We're
to
live. Okay.
Mihai's Mind. You're live with Danielle and
Me. Hi. So it's about mind. Just so you guys remember. Look, I can still see the ladder there. Yeah. So don't hide it. There's no point. Right. So hope you guys had an amazing week. I'm talking about from Thursday because today's Thursday again. So the thing that I decided to talk about today is flow. Right? How do we get into a flow? Right? Well, a lot of us might be using movies, alcohol, cigarettes, or whatever other substance to get into a flow. But we can also talk about other type of flow, like when you train, you might get into a flow. You get into a rhythm, and then if you do train, as in if you took boxing or any other forms of um, exercise. I don't mean squats and stuff. I mean more like martial arts. So if you did take that before, you will know that in the beginning it looks kind of like, I can do that, and then it takes a while to learn it, and then after you learn, you realize that, oh, hold on, it's not even that easy, and then he to put it in practice, you might be doing sparring. So when you spar, that's when you realize that you don't have a lot of flow, right? And through martial arts, it might be a way of seeing that we don't really have a lot of connection between our bodies and our mind, And with that, if you take that as an example, it goes in any other aspect, every other aspects in the life. Might want to learn music, like singing on piano or violin or whatever, and you would think, oh, I can do that, yeah. But then trying to because in your mind you can, but trying to get your mind to make the body to do it is a different thing, right? So what do we want to do? Is always we have that mind, like the conscious fighting the subconscious, and the subconscious fighting the universal mind, and so on. So what we want to do, we want to get them all together, because for explaining sake, it's easy to say we have three minds, but it's really one. So to get it to work together is like when you're like complete relaxed, like relaxation. If you tried meditation before, you would see that that's what brings you there. You like so calm, you know. Or if you want a complete opposite example, we all had that person in our life that no matter how calm we was, um, we would just have to speak to that person for about 5 minutes, and then our inner peace would be gone, you know. So that's like complete opposite. But also, when that person is not around, you got to understand that you can be at peace. But what you want to do is be at peace like that all the time, not just sometimes. So you want to be at peace all the time. So that's what I mean, like I go back to the martial arts because it's the easiest. I can give an example. Um, Once you start sparring or even like playing, or even boxing, you can take boxing as an example. Once you start, it's almost like having a conversation with someone, like um, to use the terms of like you would throw a right and a left. It's almost like saying, hi, how are you? And then the other person, if it didn't reply, you would be like, he would be stuck or just blocking the punches you're throwing. But if you would answer back, he would say, yeah, I'm fine. And also, how are you? If it continues, so you will and then you start having a flow in the even in the conversation, you know. So we took martial arts as an example, but we can take a conversation as an example, you know. Like I could say, hi, how are you? And you could say, I'm fine. And then you just killed the conversation there. There's no flow to it. There's no continuity, you know. Like there's nothing back. But if you would say, yeah, I'm fine, how are you? You know, then it would be a bigger conversation, and then we can get into more stuff together. So we start from the basics, which is trying to find out who we are or how our day's been, and to build it up to a more bonding conversation. But the reason I'm giving you this as an example is we're looking for that flow, right? So how do we get this flow? Like I said, people choose to go for music, movies, whatever, walks in the park, Beethoven, or whatever makes them relax. Basically, what you want to do is relax, right? So, what I'm gonna say is a few pointers to get relaxed. You know, is like have oxygen all the time, fresh oxygen. You know, fresh oxygen. Go for walks, relax. Um, watch your breathing. No, luckily we don't really have to interfere a lot with our breathing because it's done consciously, right? Subconsciously, um, and we're lucky not to have to think about it, because otherwise, if you think about it, you know, like again, you can go like in boxing or whatever sports or whatever. If you're exercising a little bit and you're focusing a little bit about the posture or the form you're taking, you sometimes you catch yourself forgetting about breathing, right? So luckily we have this our subconscious has the task of taking control over the breathing, right? So yeah, walks, oxygen, watch the way you breathe, you know. But try not to interfere with the way you breathe. Try not to interfere unless you're listening to guided meditations, you know. And that's where we want to get to. Either walks, you know, or sit down. So when you sit down, you can actually relax more. That's when you start understanding that the flow and everything that happens to you is for you, you know. So it comes from within. There's no pressure like, must do it now, must go fast, train, I'm gonna lose the train. Don't worry, there's other trains. Without you would not be any trains. So again, a good way to start, if you can't sit down and meditate, I said walk, breathe, walk in the morning or evenings, breathe, enjoy it, listen to some nice music or listen to the birds, and you'll see a form of tranquility inside of you, you know, like you'll get you to relax, you'll get you to, it's almost like you will get in tune with that voice in your head. And no, you're not crazy, you're not schizophrenic. There's a voice in everyone's head. um, Craziest thing when you have more voices, right? So when you have more voices, that's when you have to like sit down and meditate more. More voices is actually more thoughts. It's the same voice, but just more thoughts at the same time. And you're like,
It's like scattering.
what is going on? It's just that your inner self is calling you to sit down and meditate. No, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not sick. You're not. Nothing's wrong with you. So yeah, if you can sit down and meditate, that would be a next step for you. Sit down, close your eyes, try not to move, relax, and see what that voice in your head is saying. You know, it might be going, blah, 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 blah. Don't interfere with the voice. Let the voice go. Let the voice enjoy. Okay? Just be a witness, but don't take sides. Because, again, like if you're the person with a lot of noise in your head, a lot of voices, you know, a lot of thoughts, you might choose to take sides sometimes. And if you don't, your mind might be playing tricks on you. It might give you as it might play a movie back on you, like a memory, you know, and then that's how we're gonna get you to play to take sides. So try not to take sides.
I'm going to ask a question about that actually, because we do Mindful Mondays, and a lot of the feedback we've been getting on our posts is that a lot of the individuals, when they sit down, they cannot switch off. They say, you know, they'd like to be able to go into a meditative state, but they cannot switch off. What would you say to encourage them today?
Well, there is no method, you know, there is no like paid method to switch off. I can start saying to you guys, oh, you know what, it actually costs you 50, 100 pounds, 600 pounds, and then I will teach you how to do it, but I'm giving it to you for free, right? Don't try to switch off. Why fight it? You know, that's when you're really struggling, because you're fighting it. Why don't you just sit down, just like me and Danielle are doing right now? You just sat down on a chair, and the next thing you want to do is place your palms on your knees, or just you can use the Japanese style of meditating, or the Chinese, the Buddha style, right? Or the Hindu style, right? Or with the easiest one for me, I've noticed that the Western style works best for me, right? So for you guys, you might have to find your own style in terms of how you position your body. Of course, there's many methods about breathing and how to do this and how to do that. But listen, the best method is this. Why don't you let your body guide you, right? Without forcing it to do anything. Let the body take its natural course, right? So how do you take natural course? It's about funny guys, that has to be funny. So how do you take natural course is it's just to relax, sit down and just try and relax. And think about funny things. For example, and if other things come into your head, let them happen. You know, it's not about switching off like this. It's not like your mind doesn't just switch off. You know, it takes practice, and you can't expect years of pollution. And when I say that, I mean like you constantly talking negatively in your mind, or even gossiping, or not necessarily negatively, but you constantly been talking behind the scene, and now you just want to switch off. It doesn't really work like that, you know. So very few of us are lucky to just switch off like that. But basically what we want to do is just try and give the body um, a position that is neutral. Like they say your spine should be straight and this and that, but realistically we're not all um, a same person, you know, like in terms of the bodies, we're not the same person. We're all individual in terms of the body, right? So in terms of the flesh, that's what I mean. So you would sit in a different way, and I would sit in a different way. It's not about being the same in the world, you know. So just sit down, and whatever comes natural to you, it's like just sit down there, and you close your eyes and just try not to move. You know, in the beginning you will get or it noises. You will hear noises and everything to make you open your eyes and this and that. And at the end of the day, it's progress. You will open your eyes, you'll go back in, and you'll try it again. And then don't try and do more than 15 minutes a day in the morning, 15 in the morning, 15 in the night. And then if 15 is a lot, just start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes is not a lot, you know. You just have to sit down for 5 minutes. Just sit down for 5 minutes, which is quite easy, right? It's not a complicated thing. And then the next thing you want to do is switch. So first you will try and immobilize the body, you know, immobilize the body, which means try not to move. And the after did that, it normally takes about a week to 2 weeks to do that. After you did that, what you want to do is be a witness of what's going on in your mind. Just be a witness. Just be there like you're watching a movie, right? You're just watching TV and you're flipping channels and you're just watching. You're just witnessing what is going on, right? Without interfering, So that's pretty much it for this stage. Once you pass that stage, then you can watch. Like if you constantly try to interfere, that's when they recommend you should watch your breath. So instead of thinking about this thought or that thought, you're basically more like, so you're thinking about your breath more than anything. But also, you once you get more advanced, they advise you to drop the watch of the breath, because you're still aware of something. So what you want to do is leave the body behind a little bit, like try and enjoy it's almost like a cosmic dance in your mind when you like get into the trance, into the flow of the meditation. So in the beginning it might be like, oh nah, but if you are like a troubled person in terms of not because the neighbors are troubling you, but you're like all the time, you don't know what to do, that's because your inner self is calling you, so you have to sit down and meditate. And it's not just, that's just an example, but inner self is always calling all of us. It's just that we don't really listen to it. So that's what we have to do, like it's knocking on our door in different ways. So like I said, first is immobilize your body. Second, be a witness of the thoughts that are going on in your mind. Third, you want to look at the breathing, right? Don't interfere with the breathing though. Then stage 4 is you might want to induce a state of happiness. So if you will notice that most of us, we tend to go on the negative side, and we tend to, negative could be anything from being an example. Let's just give you an example. Someone, you went to a party and then they blamed you, right? Or you blame someone else, and then negativity would come into your life anyway, like, as in your mind, your mind will try to play tricks on you in terms of make you feel guilty, make you feel that person that was that caused the action. And what you have to do, you have to be forgiveful of yourself, because otherwise you will always get that thought in your mind when you meditate. If you don't let go of that thing, you will always get it in your mind. So within that stage that appears when you meditate, you will have to forgive yourself for whatever comes in your mind. Also forgive everyone, right? And don't hold it against them. And that means you're not, whatever you're remembering those people, you're not remembering them because that happened. Okay. And the next stage on the meditation is you can start by being positive, right? So how do you do that? So when you're deep in your meditation, you want to switch on to I am love, for example. You just accept in your world that you are love. So when you're deep in the meditation, that it would be a lot better for you, because what really happens when you go deep in the meditation, you go into theta, right? Which is that's when you like writing on your subconscious. So the subconscious creates in your mind, in your world, which is outside of us. So we constantly creating, just one second, yeah. we're constantly creating in our mind, like, even if we're not aware of it, we're constantly creating. And then we look around us and we think, oh, wasn't that this, or wasn't that that, right? So we think that our lives happen because that's how it's written, but it is in a way because you are writing it, right? Which is deep philosophy to get there to understand what I'm actually saying. But I know, if you're watching this video, you are here because it's your time to actually get the answers, right? So again, when you're deep in a meditation and then you pass the first few stages, you can start being thankful, being grateful for things that you actually want in your life, or if you're not there yet, just accept that you are and be grateful that you are as a person. Accept that you are love. Accept that you are amazing, beautiful, right? And the more you do that, the more you will be shown in your life. Okay, right. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Just before I go, I'll just do a quick recap on how to meditate. So the first stage is just sit down, immobilize the body. Second is try not to, which is the first one, try not to move. Second, just be a witness of whatever goes on in your mind. And then third, what you want to do is watch your breathing. Number four is try to add things in your life by appreciating who you are, loving who you are, and be grateful for who you are, right? That's what you want to do, number four. And that should probably be it for now. But if you got to that fourth stage, then you might want to ask a question, get in contact with us, okay? And then we will guide you what you have to do next after it, right? Thanks for joining us for today, guys. It's been wonderful. That's part of our lecture, Mihai's Mind. I hope you guys are staying happy, and I wish you all the best in the world. Yeah, stay happy.